Hi everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television.
And I'm Kim Anderson. I'm on the board of MCAT, and I'm the Director of Programs and Grants for Humanities Montana.
Welcome to this edition of Missoula Live.
Yeah.
It is now, repeats notwithstanding, we're 2 days away from the first day of spring.
So they say.
Right?
I don't believe it.
Yeah. And so we've got a pretty interesting show for you. As usual, I have a few news announcements about MCAT I wanted to share with you before we get on with our guests. My news announcement involves spring break coming up. So if you have a child in middle school about the ages of 9 to 13, MCAT wants you to know that we have activities for them. If you don't, always dangerous, if not tiresome. So this camp, coincidentally, it's going to be school hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can see more about it at our website at mcat.org. So it's next week, Monday, March 26th through Friday, March 30th. And guess what? The price was reduced.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's $110 or sliding fee scale, because we've made our mark, right? So that we can put a little loss into it, because we're a nonprofit.
So if it's a hardship, if 110 just isn't in the ballpark.
Talk to us, 542-6228. Other news, Saturday animation rages on.
Still going.
Right through St. Patty's Day, there are 8 youngsters
Those kids are
down
tireless.
here. They are somewhat tireless. This is kind of a fun opportunity for kids to learn some storytelling, computer skills, a little bit of teamwork when they're forced to. It's Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. There's a $10 fee, is a drop-in, so you can come any old time. And we'll be running that program right through the Saturday before the Memorial Day weekend. So it's got at least 2 months in it.
That's the best bargain in town.
Yeah. And then finally, the focus groups.
Yes.
So MCAT is funded almost, not quite exclusively, but through subscriber fees that you, dear viewer, pay. If you are interested in letting your voice be heard over a next 10-year planning document, you would have the opportunity to go to a focus group being conducted April 3rd and 4th at the Missoula Public Library's large meeting room on the first floor. There's 4 sessions available. They are being billed as 2 hours long. But not only will they be shorter, the time will fly by. Not like you're in the dentist chair. So if you're interested, you see on the screen the various slots, but the way that you would sign up is to go to mcat.org and then click on the upper left hand and then click on focus groups. And there you'll see a little bit of background and rationale, like why are they doing the focus groups? And then if you click on the box that says click here to register, that will take you to a registration page. You can enter in your name, address, and email. No salesperson will call.
No, we don't even know any salespeople.
No, well, hardly. But you, dear viewer, would get a strong note of gratitude from Missoula Community Access Television for helping us plan out the next 10 years of local communication visioning.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's all my news, Humanities Montana. Any in your bonnet?
Very brief, very brief. Just want everyone out there to know that we have a grants deadline coming on April 20th. So if you are involved with an organization that does any sort of public humanities work, whether that's history, literature, political science, jurisprudence, environmental studies, and you want to make your mark out there and need a little funding for your project, come to us, give me a call, go to our website, and you can find out all of our guidelines and requirements. And again, that deadline is April 20th. There is no maximum amount of a grant from Humanities Montana. So it's just our regular grant deadline, that's it.
Excellent. I think that's well worth doing. Our guests, Brendan Moles of Homeword, Greg Harper, Rural Dynamics, welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks for being on the show with Chester.
And sitting here so patiently, all three of you.
So you guys, Greg, you mentioned to me, you guys often work together on issues of helping people understand the complicated and sometimes scary world of personal finance.
Absolutely, yes. I think that's a great way of putting it, Joel. It is complicated, it is scary. I was just reading an article today about student loan debt. One of the biggest next crash of our, I'm kind of being pessimist here,
right,
of our economy, but student loan debt, $1.4 trillion in student loan debt out there.
It's astonishing.
So what Greg and I do, we work at different nonprofit organizations. It's nice to know about Humanities, Montana Humanities. Mm-hmm. Homeward offers financial education, rental education, pre-purchase education on a monthly basis. And we offer counseling services totally free to the public. Our counseling services are. The only cost that we have as an organization is our home buyer education class, which is offered monthly. And it's a minimal fee of $25 for one person or $40 for two people. But we offer that service to the community. We actually get people from the Bitterroot, from Mineral County, from way up towards Sealy Lake. So people from all over come and take our classes. It's a great service to help educate people. And Greg offers some counseling services that we kind of
overlap a little bit. But yeah. Where I think that we differentiate a little bit is that I offer bankruptcy counseling. So we both counsel on the housing side, but I offer bankruptcy counseling, credit counseling, and again, no cost, no fees for our services as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this issue of, for instance, student debt, it seems like it's going to grow as a stronger issue in the economy, right? As more and more people graduate school and they're building into their lives a significant portion that they're supposed to be saving and then sending off to somebody else.
Well, the other issue that's tied into that is a lot of our economy is based on credit.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue on the student loan debt side, is that it's very easy to get overall consumed by student loan debt and have a hard impact on the credit. Coming to us for counseling services at Homeward, we're happy to go through credit report, help you pull a credit report. By federal law, you're entitled to a free report every 12 months from the 3 credit reporting agencies. But we also have the ability to pull a tri-merge credit report that gives actual credit scores and help to educate people on their credit. Greg is a certified credit counselor. Myself at Homeward and Katie Sadowski, my peer there, neither of us are certified credit counselors. We're certified housing counselors by HUD, but we're not credit counselors. So if there's something that's beyond our expertise or comfort level, we refer them to Greg.
Yeah, and the bankruptcy, that sounds really scary. Like, could you give people like a background on bankruptcy in the sense that, well, it's got a negative connotation, right?
Sure it does.
But often people that have to resort to bankruptcy, they don't want to think of themselves as failures or anything like that. I don't know if you could address that a little bit.
No, absolutely. I think, what I tell people is, listen, you're not defined by your circumstances, rather you're defined by how you handle them.
Yeah.
In terms of looking at what options that you have, bankruptcy certainly may be a strong consideration. Whether it's a viable option or not, we really don't know until we refer you out to legal counsel. So when somebody comes to me and they say, well, I don't want to do bankruptcy because I've heard it was not a good thing, and I'm like, well, where did you hear that? And they're like, well, my friend told me at the grocery store. We're like, well, maybe we need to go seek some legal counsel. So by referring them out and having them be true to the process, and then just, gathering the information that they, that they can hopefully make the right decision for them. For me, I review the information. I don't make any judgments. I tell them that they have to then seek that legal counsel, come back to me, and it's a process. And so a lot of times people, their first thought of bankruptcy, that it's maybe not something they want to do, but by the time they kind of look into it, if it's a strong consideration, it might be the answer to their problem.
Now, if people want to get a hold of you and Rural Dynamics, what's the best way? I know I pulled up the website for Scott to show folks at home, but is it better to call or?
Sure.
There it is on the screen. And you're thanking someone for tax help.
Yes, we have. No, absolutely. The website is a great place to go. People can contact me locally, and so they can just contact me at 406-454-5735. That's my direct line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because people might be out there having questions. I remember this a lot more when the housing market fell so precipitously in 2009 and 2010. People were paying mortgages on homes that had lost so much of the
Right.
value,
They were
right? They say,
upside
"Oh, I
down.
bought this house
Yeah.
for 500,000. It's now worth 180, and am I going to continue to pay 500,000?" and so on.
That's right.
That's one thing Greg and I, in 2010 through 2014, for myself, we were the only foreclosure counselors pretty much in Western Montana.
Wow.
So we were helping people mitigate the issues with their homes with regard to either trying to request of their servicer a modification of the terms of their existing loan so that it can be made affordable due to financial hardship, be it unemployment, death, divorce,
Illness.
a situation in the household, or their next step is transitioning. There was people that we assist and they appreciated that. I mean, we've become emotionally attached to our homes. It's a big, big thing. And so it's transitioning out of the home is another step that we've tried to help them. And I really believe it's curtailed, at least from my organization, quite a bit since 2015. I haven't seen very much come across my plate with
Well, I think
regard
the problems still are there. They're probably not as bad as they were at that time.
Yeah.
And the other thing is there's so much, as you mentioned, there's, Missoula's we're very sheltered. It was an incredible area to be sheltered in.
Mm-hmm.
3 major rivers, beautiful mountains, university, hospitals. I mean, so we didn't feel the hardship that a lot
Right.
of areas, not necessarily in Montana, but outside of the area that felt it. So people now are realizing incredible amounts of equity, and it's just the complete opposite now.
Yeah.
We went like this, and now we're going
Yeah.
right through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Which hurts really the first-time home buyers, though, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
people that said,
Get
"Oh,
back
gee, I
in.
think I'll look at a starter house, a 1-bedroom on a small lot," and I thought someone had said the other day, "Well, there's about 9 or 12 houses under $200,000 within
think
the
that's
city limits."
An exaggeration.
Probably. Probably.
Exactly.
I think that is.
I think the amazing services you both provide. I mean, for some reason, I think many people have the misconception that that you're just born financially literate, or you'll never be able to learn. You know, and
Some people say it's not for me, right? They'll say
Yeah.
another member of the household handles all
right.
of this
Or
stuff.
they're
They
embarrassed
pay the bills,
that they don't
or-
understand what their credit score is or how to access it, or they're embarrassed
I
that
agree.
and there's no shame in that. I personally needed a lot of education, and so to have these sorts of classes and workshops or just help on an appointment basis
Yeah,
is
one-on-one
invaluable.
counseling, you bet. Our job is to empower and encourage our clients and really just help them. I always talk about the fact that everybody needs an unbiased third party. It's perspective.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we enjoy our job. I've been doing it for 12 years, which is equivalent of 11,000 councils.
Oh my gosh.
And Brendan's been doing it longer than that.
I've been in the nonprofit housing world of Missoula for over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so you have a fantastic overview of affordability and, and all of this other stuff.
I mean, I can remember back in '98 helping people buy first homes at $75,000.
Yeah, sure.
I was telling Greg I paid $60 for mine, and I thought it was a big deal. I thought it was enormous. That the mortgage
And
was
it was
$540
at that-
a month, and I didn't know how in the world I was going to make it.
I mean, those
Right.
houses, not yours necessarily, but some of those houses are 3 to 4 times more in 20 years' time. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And
I
they're
mean,
and they haven't grown in square footage either.
no,
Right.
no.
They're still
If anything, my house is in worse
Yeah.
shape. I was saying I'm getting a little work done, before it crumbles into the
But
ground.
you mentioned it. I mean, first-time home buyers. I mean, our income has not kept up with.
No.
The cost of living has. I mean, besides houses, everything else has increased, and yet our cost of living is, our wage income
Has not.
static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. And the strange thing about real estate is its psychological value, right? Like if somebody said,
Yes.
I have a table and it can withstand 1,400 pounds, and you're like, well, that's worth $30.
There's a formula for
And you
that,
say, well,
yeah.
I'm going to now bring this table to Los Angeles or New York City or Berlin or Paris. And they're like, that table is worth $50,000. It's psychological, and that's why overnight your home worth $500,000 could suddenly be worth $180,000.
Oh yeah.
It's
supply
fascinating
demand,
and
what
scary.
people are willing to pay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just going to observe for a lot of adults, right, we get through the education situation without a lot of emphasis on finance.
Right.
Maybe a little bit of math and so on. And this is, you say goodbye to college days, and in a way, this is the end of your truck with authority figures, except for the bank. I think every time someone goes into a bank, there's a sense of power there to which they are subservient. They put in a little bit of money, and the bank may or may not give them a loan, and they're people that have power over your lives that you have to satisfy in some way. And for a lot of people, this whole authority thing, they don't like it.
Right.
So that's where you guys can come in and sort of dismantle some of that psychological aura around the bank, around owing money, or around creditors.
Sure.
You know, I see it so much today. I have people coming in that have what Greg would call a thin file on their credit. They don't believe in credit. I mean, they were raised maybe in a household that was a cash household only, that's wonderful. That's absolutely great. We'd love to see people that don't have debt and know how to live by what they earn. And they're not using credit as an extension of income.
Yeah.
But when it comes time to buy a house, you have to have credit.
Right.
So we like to take them. Greg has a great product at his organization. Go ahead and about the credit building loan.
Yeah, so we have a credit builder loan that there literally are no fees, and we don't charge any interest. Somebody would give us a $25 payment. We'll report to all three bureaus that they're paying as agreed on an installment loan.
Oh, brilliant.
And then at the end of that year, we give them that $300 back.
Yeah.
So it's just a way for us to, our funders that underwrite that allow us to do that at no cost to the consumer, and so it's a great product.
Yeah, that's a great way of building credit, because sometimes there are
Yeah.
people that have gone through, let's say, a pretty sheltered marriage, and then they come out with no credit, nothing, no power bill, no phone, no Netflix, so they have no credit history, and suddenly they're on their own.
Well, maybe they have bad credit history.
Right.
So-
My son showed me his credit report very proudly last week.
See, this is
And
what
it
I'm
didn't
saying
exist when I was
too
his
about
age.
the aura of authority, right? Like Equifax and whatever. I mean,
Right.
here are these strange powers monitoring your activity. It takes a lot of debunking, I think, for people that take offense to that sense of authority and intrusion.
I'm going to speak on
get in.
for Brendan too, but I think that we see ourselves as the hub of the wheel, with the spokes going out to the outer wheel. On the outer wheel, you have everybody. They have a banker, attorneys, everybody that has their specific knowledge of what they're doing to help a consumer. We're kind of in the middle that have kind of an understanding of the big picture,
Right.
and we get to kind of help them navigate. And so that's the power of what we do, and there's just no cost to that. So.
Yeah.
It's a great resource.
I would love people to take advantage of the counseling services that Homeward offers, both Katie's financial counseling, which is a phenomenal budgeting. She's a great budgeter and enthusiastic and passionate about what she does. My specialty is pre-purchase counseling, so come in and see me, and we'll talk about what potentially you could be available, what's out there available to get you into a home.
And my expertise is the credit cards. So we're able to consolidate credit cards through our debt management plans, and
That's valuable.
that helps.
It is.
Scott is telling us.
Oh, we
we're
better move
running
along. Yeah, I was getting fascinated. I could talk about this all day. But so thank you both for coming in.
Yeah, I know,
Anybody
I
minds
know.
his time, he knows how many guests
Go
are
to
out.
their websites
Yes,
and
Rural
find
Dynamics
out more.
and Homeword. So we'll be back with a fresh set of guests right after Scott shows you this.
So we're standing at a facility that up until recently was owned by a Canadian corporation, and today it's owned by the people of Missoula, and this facility no longer serves a practical purpose for our community. We acquired the water system for a number of reasons, not the least of which is that we believed in providing a safe water supply for generations to come at a reasonable cost. And now that we own the system, we're discovering that there are additional benefits beyond simply engaging in service delivery. And one of those benefits is that we're able to work with partners to create new opportunities for the community and new conservation programs. And today we're announcing a partnership with Montana Trout Unlimited and the Montana Department of State Wildlife and Parks to mitigate the dam. We're going to remove this dam, and you'll hear more about the detail there, but the fact of the matter is that this dam, again, serves no practical purposes, and it, in fact, impedes wildlife. It is a place today that's fenced off from humans and wildlife, and our intention is to bring this area back to a free-flowing stream and restore it the best we can to ensure that we are engaging in environmental stewardship in the best way. This is a great piece of business, and it's just one of many that we think we'll be able to engage in over time under public ownership. And again, without the partners who are here today, this project would likely be happening sometime in the future. But folks recognizing that we have a chance to do the right thing here after a very long time stepped up, and we have partners who are going to make this place new in the old way, which is pretty fantastic. So without further ado, I will mention that for the record, Councilwoman Cares and Councilwoman West have joined us. Someone's recording this somewhere. And I've been heavily scripted, which is always the case, just so that I get folks in order. So first, you're going to get an overview of the project from Rob Roberts, who is managing the project on behalf of Montana Trout Unlimited. Rob.
My name is Rob Roberts. I work for Trout Unlimited here in Missoula. First of all, I want to say thank you to the mayor, the other elected officials, the city staff that we've worked with so far in this project.
Okay, we are back. Our next guests have a pretty interesting event coming up, an open house, which is tomorrow, if you're watching this on Monday live, March 19th. However, we know it's very short notice, so if you're interested in looking at options for the Rattlesnake Creek Dam, we'll tell you in the course of our interview what you can do to have your input or to learn more. Right now, Rob and Dennis are here. Dennis is the supervisor of City Water. Rob is with Trout Unlimited. Thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Appreciate it.
So the event is right tomorrow, right? An open house about options on the Rattlesnake Dam. But maybe can you give people a little background on what's going on?
Sure. Basically, just after the city took over, and one of the reasons why we're able to do this is because the city took over the water system, is to work with the other departments, Park and Rec, within the city, and the generosity of Trout Unlimited, to look at the options, the possibility of taking the intake dam out, to better serve Park and Rec, also the fish habitat, and put it back to natural.
What does the intake dam do right now?
It used to provide water, part of the water for the city of Missoula back in the day, but in 1983, because of the Giardia outbreak,
I
they stopped
remember
using
that.
it.
Yes.
So it's not used at all right now. So, and actually, because it hasn't been used, it's been deteriorating year after year.
But it is a bona fide dam on the Rattlesnake Creek, like a built-up person-made obstruction that creates like a pond, lakeish area.
Yep, there's a concrete dam that was originally built back in 1904 as part of the dam in the pond.
Wow.
There's a wall that separates the Rattlesnake Creek into the pond, and basically the water goes into the pond to settle out all the particles in the water, turbidity, and then it goes back down into a screen, and then it would be shot with chlorine and put into the system.
Oh, I got you.
So, but yeah, it's been around for a while. So because it's been around so long, the concrete is over 100 years old. It's beyond its life, and
Right.
it's just deteriorating.
What would happen to the waterway if it wasn't there?
Well, I'll let Rob talk about that.
Okay.
So that's part of our options.
Yeah.
that they've
Because
been working on.
sometimes, the Rattlesnake residents are often in the spring grappling with flood concerns, right?
Right.
Like how much flow is coming from the Rattlesnake. So have you heard people homeowners there say, oh, what is that dam doing? Maybe it's helping prevent a flood or something.
Right. So, a couple of things to think about. One, the dam's not operational. It's been there for over 100 years. In terms of a flood, it actually, if you think about Rattlesnake Creek at spring flow, it would take 13 minutes for the reservoir to fill up. So in terms of flood control, it's really not doing
Not doing
Right.
that much.
Doesn't produce electricity, and it's basically starting to fail and, come apart. So, the best option really is to remove it. Open it up for fish passage up Rattlesnake Creek, where now they're limited or blocked by the dam. Improve the whole area for fish and wildlife, and then the dam actually connects to 45 acres of what is now City of Missoula property. So that area can be opened up for open space, recreation by the public.
Oh, wow.
That's really amazing. I'd forgotten about that part. I remember the area from when I used to mountain bike. There's a house there, isn't there?
Correct.
Yeah, and I thought, gosh, this is really interesting, very romantic.
I don't think I've
set.
ever been there.
And you grew up here? Well, that's the problem. You take it sort of for granted. So the open house, you're inviting the public in. What do you want the public to do once they kind of look at what's going on?
So yeah, the open house is tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's a drop-in format, meaning no official presentations, but we're going to have about 20 posters that are going to show the history, the background, the current use of the dam, and then what the options are for actually, removing the structure or, either whole or in part, and then what some restoration options look like for the floodplain and the creek and recreation for the surrounding area.
And are you accepting input from
Oh, definitely.
the county?
Yes. And that's what the whole nice thing is about an open house is that we want the public to come. We want them to see what the different options are.
Right.
We want input, Since it's city owned, we can get input from the customers.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And rattlesnakers.
They have
know what I'm saying?
opinions.
They have opinions up there. Are you? Yeah. But I mean, when we look back, take a long view of like rattlesnake interaction with the city per se, there was annexation in the early 90s. It was not a pretty picture, I can tell you, because I was covering city council at that time.
Yeah.
And then there was the sewering, to lower the nitrogen levels. Not a pretty picture. So I think it is important to let people. Rattlesnakers, we're going to editorialize for a minute. You need to go to this to see what's going on because you're a spirited village. And it's very important for them to know stuff like that. And as I've said, in the past, I've had friends with property in the Rattlesnake very worried about every time the spring flow comes, what is it going to be like?
What is the time frame in terms of the decision-making process going forward?
Well, basically what we're going to do is try to get customers' input in that for the next 2 weeks and look at all and then compile everything and then sit down and see what the options are, see what inputs we got. We're hoping all positive, and then we'll probably have another meeting or we'll update the council and so televise that also.
And is there some way online or some other avenue? Let's say somebody's like, "Well, thanks, MCAT. I'm supposed, supposed to go tomorrow to this thing I'm just hearing about." How can people give their input if they miss the open house?
If they miss the open house, they can go online to the city website. We also have the same questionnaire. We're going to hand out a questionnaire to get everybody's input, and then also online. They're going to be able to go online also and fill out the questionnaire also.
Oh,
Yes, you'll be able to look at the same presentation and posters in a slide format online.
Oh, good. Okay, so people can't make it. But if they can make it, where and when?
It's Missoula International School.
Oh, okay.
Which I believe is 1100 Harrison Street, 7 p.m. to 8:30 tomorrow night.
Got it. Well, thank you guys so much for coming by to tell people about it and letting people know they can have input after the fact, almost up to 2 weeks or so, and you want to compile the data and make recommendations and so on. And that part will be really interesting to learn about. 45 acres. And this hitherto has been undeveloped, and people hadn't really known it had any recreational opportunity or anything.
Right.
Because it was private property, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now we have exciting options.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for inviting us.
Keep us posted.
Yes.
Will do.
And Scott will show you another beautiful PSA as we switch out guests, and we'll see you in a moment. Maybe Tom Zavitz is going to talk about Design Excellence Stage 3 right after this.
Spring break is just around the corner. While some of you get to go on vacation, MCAT lets your kids get away from reality to join us March 26th through the 30th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for only $150. Kids will create and share their own works of media arts ranging from reality to fantasy. Kids will learn how to shoot, edit, record voiceovers, and make their stories come to life.
How do kids play with these things?
Find out more by logging on to MCAT.org and clicking on our Spring Flicks Camp to sign up.
You have fallen down. Take my hand in friendship.
Sergeant Greg Amundsen with the Missoula Police Department. I'd like to talk a little bit about bicycles riding on the sidewalks in the city of Missoula, which we see a lot because Missoula is a very bike-friendly town. I would just like to let bicyclists know that they do have to yield to pedestrians on the sidewalk safely because they travel faster than a pedestrian, so they do have to do that in a safe manner. And then when you get to a crosswalk, you are actually required to slow your bicycle down to what would be called a pedestrian pace, and you cannot begin crossing until it's safe to do so.
Missoula Community Access Television works with kids in an active learning environment where they get hands-on experience in video production. MCAT offers weekly Saturday classes that spark creativity in kids from 9 to 13 years of age. Located downtown at 500 North Higgins. MCAT Saturday Drop-Ins. Create your story. Oh yeah, we're going to change that. Well, welcome back. Tom Zavitz is here from Development Services of the City of Missoula to talk about Design Excellence Workshop. One is coming up. Welcome, Tom. Thanks so much for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm with Development Services, and I'm with the city planning department. I'm a planner, and the project is about commercial development standards. So development standards for commercial buildings. We're having an open house tomorrow night, tomorrow night at 5:30.
March 20th.
Tuesday,
right?
5:30 at the DoubleTree. And it's an open house. It's the third and final open house, and we're asking folks to come and give their feedback on the results that the consultant has given us, which is basically the final product of an ordinance. Right?
Because there have been 2 workshops previously in which people sort of gave input, and they said, these are the kind of things we'd like to see in the commercial corridor and downtown, and maybe to a degree people reacted to stuff that was already built where they thought, oh my God, is that the building, that replaced the old building? And there's some things we'd like to see in future, and some of these things are aesthetic, some of them are practical, and some of them are related to the world of architecture.
Right, and I think, in the beginning it is, we don't want to lose the character of Missoula. That character is important to people, and it's important they maintain their identity. And then when they saw some buildings come in the past few years, they felt like, this is something that could threaten what we have here, and maybe we need to put some rules in place. And so that's what this is about, is putting some rules in place like that. And so this project discusses what exactly should those rules be.
Yeah.
And what sorts of things have the study groups in the past and the professional who's helping you with this? What? Give us some examples of what sorts of issues have been considered.
Well, one building that we did that came up in Missoula was built sort of with its back to the street. So this is these kinds of rules would say you need to have your front of your building to the street.
Right.
You need to have an entrance and be welcoming to the pedestrian traffic. Other things are like you can't have your building be your logo. You can have your sign and your logo, and you can do it through the sign ordinance, but you can't have your building just be a big logo for your company.
Right.
And so we've seen that a few times too, and people, we've had a lot of complaints, and really those complaints over the past few years has been what drove the council to take this up.
Generated this process,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really interesting exercise, of the balance between the rights of private property and the sort of rights of public enjoyment or some kind of thing about the built environment. Because a lot of people are hostage to the built environment and say, well, everyone gets to do their own thing, and then they wonder what that thing might be. And I think it's really noble to try to get people on the same page. I mean, it's really difficult because you're dealing with those 2 really ingrained American feelings, right? That the feeling of place and the feeling of private property, the privilege of private property, and a sense of place.
Absolutely, and it's very delicate balance, and that's why we want to have as much public input as we can, because that's really what helps us determine where we wind up with that balance. And and again, back to, and everybody's going to have their own sense of what is Missoula. Is it a free for all, or is it a place we want to keep, or what is it? And these standards, I have to say, with the standards that we're considering here, there is a lot of flexibility in them, so that so these only cover corridors in the downtown, commercial corridors in the downtown, and there's a lot of flexibility in these, in that you will go. There's a lot of intent language in there of what we're looking for, and then you go. You create a building design with that, after having read the guidelines, and then you come in and a person in the department will review those to determine if you're meeting kind of the intent, not necessarily, although there are standards in there that are black and white that a person can meet, get their permit and go on. If you want to do a little more, if it's a more involved project, then it might have to have additional review but it's not that at that point, it still isn't, it might not be black and white. Are you meeting the intent here of good design? And so there's going to be a lot of flexibility for people. We don't want to make this an expensive process or something that adds a lot of time. This is meant to be, let's preserve our character, let's maybe keep some of the things we don't like out, and then let's see what we can agree on.
Yeah, I think one way, just when you were talking, it came to my mind that the viewer at home might relate to is It's a Wonderful Life. You may remember when George, crashes the vehicle on the bridge, and then he goes back into town. Well, he wished he'd never been born, and he got his wish granted. So what he returns to is Potterville.
Right.
And Potterville was kind of like very laissez-faire. Like there was blaring light everywhere, right? There was no control of the size of signs.
Run amok. Yeah.
I didn't say it, you did. So in a way, yes, it had a little element of that, but I think people do like a sense of order and a sense that there is an overall design aesthetic going on, no matter what the scale. They don't want to see a dog from every village. They don't want signs that are the size of billboards, lit up so brightly that you can't see the street.
But I would think part of the challenge, one of the challenges would be thinking, having foresight within these guidelines, because we all know what we don't like when we see it. But what is the next manifestation? I mean, there are things that people have been appalled by that we never imagined before they happened.
Right.
So that the professionals who have been working with you guys, and you, of course, you're professional, must kind of have training in how to think through those processes and imagine what might happen 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line.
Yes, absolutely. And, this won't transform the city all of a sudden.
Right.
It will just be for new projects and remodel projects. But, and so it'll take place gradually. And we won't have, Bozeman has design standards, and they're more prescriptive. They're a little bit more, some people say cookie cutter, but you can see what's happening in Bozeman, and a lot of the buildings tend to look alike.
Yes.
Here, we don't have that in this. This is more of, are you meeting this intent? We're really trying to find this unique, whatever it means to be the unique Missoula that we are. And what it means is there's a little bit of everything. And the one thing we do, as you said, we know what we don't like. And so this is going to give us a chance to say no to those things, but generally speaking, this should in the end add value to people's property. It's just kind of a fact of life. The more people you get into one small space, kind of the more rules are needed to protect everybody's rights. So I think in the end people will find that these are pretty flexible and easy to deal with, and they won't be as constraining as design standards that other cities have.
Tom, what are the next steps after tomorrow night's open meeting?
So tomorrow night we're looking at the rules, these design guidelines as the consultant has proposed them, and then from there we'll make changes according to the comments that we get, and then at that point we will hold a public hearing at planning board, and that will be in May or June, I think. So that will be another opportunity for the public to comment and go to a public hearing, watch a public hearing about these things with their concerns. This is more of an easy time to say, hey, I don't like that. Could I get to have something change? The window is still open here. Right. As we move along, the window starts to close, but you can still, changes will still be made as we move along. So after the planning board in May, Then we will head to City Council for a public hearing, probably in midsummer, maybe late summer, I think, depending on how this goes.
Right.
So we'll just have to see.
And people want to go. It's tomorrow, and the venue is the Doubletree?
The venue is the conference room in the Doubletree, and we have snacks this time, so
That's good.
I think there
know
was
the
a
importance.
shortage last time or something. So,
Riots.
yeah, that can be, yeah.
And the time of day, is it 7? Is it
It's
late?
5:30.
5:30,
Well,
right
you
after
definitely
work.
need the snacks.
Yeah.
Right?
We need the snacks.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'd point out to the dear viewers at home, MCAT's recorded the first 2, and we plan to be there tomorrow.
Oh, good. Oh,
to
good.
record the third.
Yeah, fantastic. And this is a new thing for us, so keeping your eye on it will be interesting.
Yeah. Well, Tom, thanks so much for taking the time to come over.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, and we'll have you back in midsummer.
Yes,
Well, we don't do
as-
the show in midsummer. We'll have you back
the May
in the
one,
next
maybe.
maybe.
Well, maybe I'll have something else going for you.
Yeah. there
Okay,
you go.
all right. Well, it's certainly an exciting time. So, planning is always a good idea when you see as much growth as we're seeing
Oh, man.
right now.
Yeah,
especially.
getting ahead of things is always good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. It might be Kelly Bouma's turn to
Patient,
come out.
patient Kelly.
Talk about the Bear Bait Dance Company putting on a new show called Wonder Woman. Right after this. Perfect.
Yay!
What a great segue. Kelly Bowman is here to
We're getting
represent
better
Bear
and
Bait
better and
Dance.
better.
Good
Yes.
job, Scott.
Okay.
Well, welcome.
Hi, Kelly.
Hello, hello.
So, do you want to tell people a little bit about Bear Bait Dance? Give them a little background, that
Yes.
kind of thing.
Okay, so Joy French started Bear Bait Dance in 2010, and it's been in Missoula since then. And I came on as co-director 2 years ago, and our season is a full season now of 5 live productions, and we do a film festival at the Roxy.
Nice.
We bring in guests from New York and Seattle, and that's one show. We have our own company show. This year we did a show in my house.
Great.
Which was awesome.
Thank you. Called Love Song, which was actually a play, and it was the first time Bear Bait has done a play from a script. It was also a dance theater piece.
That's
So we're just kind of like blowing up in a good way, and it's Joy and I in the dance company. We have 4 full-time dance company members and an apprentice, Maeve Fahey from Hellgate High School, which is amazing.
Oh.
And we have our next show coming up, so this is the end of our season. We've been working since September, and this show is called Wonder Woman.
I love it.
It's very exciting.
Tell us a little bit about it. Now, I didn't pay attention to the clip people at home just saw, and it said, like, what's your superpower?
Okay, so we did a little campaign video. We haven't done a campaign of crowd fundraising campaign in a long time. We usually do a gala or some fundraising event, and this year we just had a lot on our plates. We're both new moms, Joy and I, so that adds a whole different dynamic.
Yes.
And just time. So we did this crowd fundraising campaign, and it's called a Wonderful campaign, and the whole idea is what's your superpower? And we go through the company's superpowers, and the show itself revolves around this idea of kind of women, and not just women, but we're all women. We're all really strong women. We have full-time jobs, we have kids, we're doing the dance company, just to really showcase how amazing we are and our friends
that's
are,
great.
Yeah.
and women in this community. And that's really kind of the theme of the show. And it's not just for women, but that's where,
Don't
But the
scare the
wonder-
guys
Don't
off.
scare them off.
Don't scare the guys.
The theme is appreciation.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. And just awareness, kind of this making the invisible visible, I think is kind of a big part of the show.
That's kind of cool. You know, I had a gal friend just last night at dinner say that sometimes when they see confident men, they get mad because they never had that opportunity to be the confident person. Because the society had been just, you know, so kind of slewed over like, well, you can do stuff in the background, that's all right.
I think it's amazing for, you know, I mean, Missoula is a very culturally oriented community, but to have a contemporary dance company that's doing all sorts of kind of genre bending, pushing performance pieces in a community this size, and to have it, you know, a professional caliber company. And I had no idea you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the venue for Wonder Woman?
So we're in residence at the University of Montana in the School of Theater and Dance. So most of our shows are in the open space, which is on the bottom floor of the Park TV building.
Oh, where the moon,
campus.
the moon.
All About Moon was there.
That was so great. I really enjoyed that.
That piece is there. We have a class on Tuesdays, an open company class that
really?
any movers in the community can come to. And this Tuesday, actually, we have a class that's open to any ages, abilities, and it's a fight and flight workshop. And Joy and I are teaching flying and fighting for the stage and film. And
it's fun.
It's super fun.
Super
So we do
fun.
that also in the open space. And so that's where most of our shows are. And we're really grateful to have the rehearsal space and the performance space available to us at the U.
It's a nice space, too.
It's really beautiful.
Really is. It's a beautiful dance floor.
Yeah.
And it's adaptable. Like All About the Moon, you guys incorporated video and big ladders and screens and all kinds of to-do, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the pieces that are going to be in this production?
Yes, there's two kind of big chunks. One is Joy and I are doing a duet, and this is our first duet that we've ever done. And it's very theatrical, very improvisational. I don't want to give too much away, but it does have to do with, again, kind of this just multitasking, how we do it, how we do it on day-to-day basis, how we do everything we do, in a very comedic way. I won't spoil how it's doing but and then it launches into kind of the full company piece, which we are all involved in some way, but is a little bit more of a traditional dance full-length evening show, 45 minutes of contemporary modern dance, and a little bit of projection, text, but mostly just an appreciation of. We have an amazing company this year, very athletic, strong, modern dancers. So that's Joy is really pulling that out of them and creating an amazing. She's choreographed the whole piece, so it's really beautiful.
And if people are interested in tickets.
Yes.
So tickets are available on our website, which is bearbaitdance.org, and it's bear as in B-A-R-E, not bear.
Right.
Oh,
Not
yes,
a
people
grid.
would think of it.
Yeah.
Well, Scott's put it on the screen,
There we
the
go.
website. Or Scott, can you
Okay,
scroll
that's
down
the
a
website.
teeny bit?
And tickets are available on there. Also, we're kind of all over Facebook, and our event is in the Independent, the Missoulian, all of the publications and all the information's there. Tickets are students $15 up to 19 day of tickets, so get them advanced because you get $2 off.
Yeah.
And we have shows March 30th and the 31st at 8 p.m. and then the following weekend, April 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, that's good.
Great.
2 weekends to kind of, the Missoula.
One is
audience.
spring break. One is the
One's
first
the
weekend
tail
of
end
spring
of
break.
very end,
Tail
yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Right,
And then the week after has the 3
Easter
shows.
weekend, we call it.
It is Easter
really?
weekend.
It's Easter weekend?
It's also Fool's. April
I know.
Fool's Day.
I said that to my mother. She didn't take it well.
Yeah.
I said, so Easter's on April Fool's Day this year. She's like, yeah. She's not buying it. You see. Well, that sounds great. Scott, how are we fixed on time?
We're okay. Yeah, we're okay. We've got a few minutes.
Oh, okay. But there's one more guest.
There
I
is.
thought.
Oh,
Yes.
there is.
Is she from Interfaith Collaborative?
She's from Missoula in Motion, and her name's Logan.
Yes.
She's here.
I was expecting Logan.
Okay.
Well, so how much time have we?
We have like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, we better get Logan
Yeah.
now. But
Okay,
Kelly,
thanks,
thank
Ray.
you so much.
Good
for
luck. I
coming
can't wait to
by.
see the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Missoula in Motion next. You guys will be right back so we can spend a little time learning about the importance of alternative forms of transportation to one individual in one car. I know it's not you, right after this.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Ranchers are the stewards of Montana's great grasslands and wetlands. Ducks Unlimited works with ranchers on conservation programs to improve cattle production and wildlife habitat. Montana is the nation's third largest waterfowl producer. Ducks Unlimited promotes working lands programs that help keep ranchers on the land while improving habitat for wildlife and Montana's outdoors people. To learn more about conservation at Ducks Unlimited, visit www.ducks.org/Montana.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
see,
we're
we
back.
did that. Very smooth,
Yeah.
very smooth.
That jump was pretty amazing. Well, dear viewer, Logan Smith is here from Missoula in Motion to talk about an interesting program Missoula in Motion offers, and that is Parklets. So you know spring is coming. I saw Robin the other day. It was very bossy. But we know spring is coming because Parklets are
What are
an option.
Parklets? What are Parklets?
Parklets are a parking space that's turned into a people place.
Yes.
So that's kind of its tagline.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
They're really fun, Kim, like fact and fiction.
That's the one I recall. And
Yeah.
so on the hip strip, I've seen a few.
Yeah, the Fact and Fiction does one almost every month of Parklet season, which is May through September.
Yeah.
So.
And the Parklets are an opportunity for businesses downtown, nonprofit businesses like MCAT, to engage the public in a kind of fun and novel way, like taking over a parking space and making it kind of like a fun oasis of whatever it is on your mind. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So each business can turn it into something different. For example, Fact and Fiction has a barrier. That's one of the requirements of a parklet to make sure that there's a defined space for people to be. And they put books and pictures of books around the parklet, so it's advertising what they have in the store, but it is kind of like that oasis of what you were saying for people to be able to come in, sit, have a cup of coffee, maybe enjoy a sandwich, and enjoy First Friday because they're out all day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And if businesses or nonprofits want the option of, or want to learn more about it, how do they find out, and what's the process to get it?
So they can go to MissoulaInMotion.com, and we have it on our website, and they can register. And just to make sure that this is clear, it doesn't have to be a downtown business, and that's a common thing that people ask us of. They think it's only downtown businesses, but if someone outside the downtown area, like Mud or Free Cycles, they've done one before, wanted to do it, then we would coordinate with a business in the downtown area and say, okay, can we host this in front of your space, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Very neat.
So
It's kind of a wonderful program because it encourages people. They're walking around downtown for first night anyway, but it kind of gives them a little more of that cafe society people often crave in a spring evening and stuff. And the businesses get mentioned. See how many times we said fact and fiction.
Yeah. So MCAT could have a parklet right outside in the space
Scott
I'm
did
taking
one.
up right now.
Yeah, Scott
he did one last year. And, they got a lot of visitors. And for, say, nonprofit like Mud or Free Cycles, if they want more volunteers or members and whatnot, it's a good opportunity for them to come across people in person, which makes a much nicer impression often than does a mailing. Exactly. Or some kind of phone calling,
And they're able to use their creativity to brand that parklet space of what they envision it and incorporate things from their organization.
So I'm just imagining that a lot of businesses or community organizations have done a whole array of different kinds of things.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So some people have brought plants out and used planters to make it be a friendly space, or Wardens has put out some tables so people who order food maybe for lunch are able to bring it out and sit and relax in the sunshine. In different communities there are also maybe active stations, so like a cycling bike is brought out so people can be active.
Oh, cool.
Or just a bench or different types of structures for people to use.
Yeah, and canopies are sometimes appreciated later in the parklet season.
Exactly.
And then they'll be asking air filters later in the parklet season.
So parklet season is when to when?
May until September, and they happen on First Fridays, but in September there's an additional one, which is National Parking Day. But it's great. The Parking Commission is the one who allows this to happen, and they're the one who donates the space as it's revenue that they're not getting in. So
exactly.
It's great that we're able to partner with them, and they're able to put on this community event as well.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, with our partners, MCAT moving to the library, we have UM Spectrum Science Discovery Center and the Children's Museum Families First program and the library. So my brain is like, maybe we could do something.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a few parklets.
Yeah. Or even joint parklets too.
Yeah.
If certain organizations want to have side-by-side parklets and maybe have a larger activity going on within it, then it's a possibility. We're open to whatever people want to do, and we'll kind of shape that depending on the parklet requirements.
And I don't know if Scott showed people at home MissoulaInMotion.com, so people just get a gander of the website. There it is. And Logan, before we have to sign off for the hour, do you want to give people just a teeny background, on Missoula in Motion? Like, here's the a slogan, see commuting differently.
Yes. So we're an organization that is part of the city of Missoula, where we help people use more sustainable transportation. So that's riding a bike, walking, busing, carpool, vanpool. There are all these different options that people can use, and our emphasis is mostly on commuters, of how you're getting to and from work. And a lot of people have this misconception that we're like, okay, Kim, you have to do this every single day. But the whole point is, maybe with your schedule and what you can do, you can try it once. So all you have to do is contact us on our website or give us a call, and we'll sit down with people and look at their transportation options and say, okay, well, maybe riding the bus is best for you, and this is the route that you should take. And if you even need help trying to ride the bus, because you've never done it before then we would be more than happy to do that with you. So it's kind of that personal connection to take that first step of using sustainable transportation.
Yeah.
It's a great resource, because I bet a lot of people have questions about, is there any van sharing in Missoula? What is the bus cost when, it's free? People have questions, and now they know where they can go for answers.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
MissoulaInMotion.com.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Logan, thanks so much for waiting to be the last person out. It's well worth it. My brain is now spinning with parklets and possibilities.
Yes.
And people will look forward, to other programs of Missoula in Motion and commuters can get like badges for miles that they've logged and all kinds of to do it. So
we do incentives. We have different events like Sunday Streets, Missoula.
Right.
Yes,
That's what I was
it's a
thinking
great
for
event.
fall.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we better go before
Next
they shut us up.
next time we're here, it's going to be April.
Yeah. It would be the day after Easter and April Fools when we're
Right.
back. So we will bid farewell. And in respect to that, I'll just say if you, dear viewer, know of a group you'd like to see them on this program, or if you're part of a group and you want to be on this program, just give us a call at MCAT. The number is 542-6228. For MCAT, I'm Joel Baird.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.